Hello there. In this particular lesson, we are going to be setting up our development environment for our course. So for that, first of all, we need to install this particular piece of software named VS Code onto our Mac. So for that, first of all, we will open our preferred browser. So in my case, I have opened Safari. If you want, you can open any other browser like Chrome, Firefox, or any other. And over there, we're going to be searching for VS Code. And if I hit enter, so we will get this first result on the Google about Visual Studio Code. It is going to be a code editor, or you can also consider it as an IDE. And you can see the further details related to what is Visual Studio Code over here. So Visual Studio Code, also commonly referred to VS Code, is a source code editor made by Microsoft. And we can use it on different platforms like Windows, Linux, and macOS. And it offers a lot of features into this particular piece of code editor that includes debugging, syntax highlighting, intelligent code completion, snippets, and code refactoring, and much more. So this is going to be a one-stop solution for any programmer to consider this particular code editor as their primary code editor for developing on different platforms or different programming languages as well. So let's say you work on different programming languages like C, C++, Java, and Python. So you don't need to install multiple IDEs for each and every programming language. For C, you don't need to install a particular specific IDE for that. Similarly, for Java, we have JetBeans and other IDEs. So you don't need to install multiple IDEs and get cluttered on your desktop. Instead of that, what you can do is you can install the VS Code IDE onto your system, and we can use that for our development purposes. So for that, what we will do is, for downloading this particular thing, we will just go to the Visual Studio Code website, and over here you can see further details related to the VS Code. So it is a code editing refined, and you can see it's absolutely free, of course, so you don't need to pay anything to use this particular IDE. So what's better than having a free open source code editor like VS Code for absolutely free of cost? So you can see we can download it for Mac. So if I scroll down a little bit, you can see what all features it offers. It offers IntelliSense, run and debug, built-in Git, and different extensions that it offers. So there is a specific extension market that is available in VS Code, from where we can get different extension for different programming languages like C, C++, Java, and JavaScript, and much more. And you can see that it also offers built-in Git, so you don't need to have another tab open for Git and running the Git commands over there. Instead of that, you can just use the built-in Git that is available in the VS Code itself. If we scroll down a little bit, you can see we can have the IntelliSense, which will be providing us with the syntax highlighting, auto-completing engine with IntelliSense, and much more. So if I keep scrolling, you can see print, debug, statements, and much more are available. So we can do the debugging of a particular piece of code in any other programming language, whether it be C, C++, or Java. There is Git commands built in to this particular VS Code itself. And if I scroll down, you can see extensible and customizable. So we can add much more features, and we can add different extension for different programming languages, and it supports almost all the programming languages out there. You can see Python, C++, then we can use Vue.js and much more. So you can see Golang, and all others are available over here. So almost all the programming languages or frameworks are supported by VS Code. If we keep scrolling, you can see we can deploy with confidence and ease with the help of the Microsoft Azure. So if you want to deploy and host your React, Angular, Vue, or Node, or Python web apps, in that case, you can use the Microsoft Azure platform for hosting them. You can see Visual Studio Code is available for JavaScript, Python, and you can also take a look at many other programming languages in the marketplace that are supported by VS Code. So almost you can see all the programming languages are listed down over here. Markdown files are also supported, TypeScript, C++, C, JSON file is supported, PowerShell, HTML, CSS, C#, PHP, YAML, and much more. And after that, you can see that it is supported by Windows, Linux, and Mac. So it is a platform independent software that we can use on different platforms as well. So let's say you have multiple setups for your development needs, like you have a Windows system, Linux, and Mac. So if you want to switch between your systems, in that case also you can run the VS Code on different operating systems as well. So whether you're working on Windows, Linux, and Mac, you will be having the flexibility to work with VS Code, and it is supported on all these three major platforms. If we scroll down, You can see what are the new feature and what is coming up. So you can get the details over here. You can get the insider build instead. So if you are interested in the insider builds, so you will be getting some other features that is not available in the regular version of the VS Code. So if you want, you can download the insider version of the VS Code as well, but it will be having some bugs here and there. And you can see also it is available for Apple Silicon, which is the M1 chips. So I am using a M2 Mac Mini. So in that also I can use this particular VS Code. So if I scroll up a little bit, and you can see download Mac Universal stable build. So we will be downloading the stable build for the VS Code. And if you just click on it, so it will be starting the download process for us. And if I just click on allow this file to be downloaded, it will be taking few seconds to download it onto a system. So if I just show you over here, you can see VS Code, and it is around 200 MB of software. So it will be downloaded really soon, and after that we will be just installing it onto our system. And for the installation process, it's quite simple. If we just double click on this app, it will be asking for the permissions. We will click on open, and you guys can see here is the Visual Studio Code window that we get. So if I just add it to the desktop too, so we will be able to see it clearly. And over here you can see here is the welcome window for the VS Code, and we have successfully installed it onto our system. So we can do all these things over here. You can see show the welcome page on startup. Okay, so this is the welcome page that we get for the VS Code. And over here you can see Visual Studio Code editing evolved, and you can create a new file over here. So let me just try to create a new file and name it as, or let's say we will be opening our Explorer, and over here I will be just creating a new folder for Python development. So let me add Python over here, and we will be creating this particular folder over here, and we will be opening this VS Code inside this particular folder. And you can see that it will be asking, do you trust this authors of the file in this folder? So we will be just accepting this thing by clicking on yes, I trust the authors, and it will be starting the VS Code inside this particular folder. You can see we are inside the Python folder that we have created. And if we want to create a new file, so we can just do command plus N, and it will be opening a new file for us. And if I just try to zoom in a little bit, so you guys will be able to clearly see what is going on over here. And if I just try to save this particular file, we will be naming it as test.py. And I will just try to minimize particular thing. And you can see, do you want to install the recommended extension for Python? So if I just click on this install, so it will be installing this particular Python extension that is available in the marketplace. You can also see the recommendation, show recommendation. If we click on it, it will be showing the recommended extension for Python, which is provided by Microsoft itself. So if I show you this particular thing, if I zoom out a little bit, you can clearly see this is the Python extension that is created by Microsoft itself. You can see it is an authorized Microsoft extension, and you can see what all features it offers. It offers IntelliSense, it offers debugging, and a lot of features. It will be also adding the support for Jupyter files. So I will recommend you to install this particular extension. So after creating this file, you will automatically be getting this particular pop-up over there. If you don't get that particular pop-up, I will be showing you the steps you need to take to go to the marketplace and install this particular extension. So if I just click on install, it will be installing it onto our system. So it will take few seconds depending on your internet speed. It will be installing it onto your system. So if you don't get this particular pop-up, you just need to click over here on this particular icon. You can see extensions icon over here, and if you just click on it, so it will be opening the extensions over here. And over here you can just search for Python, and the first result will be the official Python extension from Microsoft. So you can install this particular one, verified tick in front of the Microsoft, and you just need to install this particular extension. And apart from this, you won't be needing any other extension for our Python development. So I will just try to close this window from here, and you can see this is the welcome window for the extension that we have installed. So we have already created everything. We can create the Python environment as well if you want. So if you want to add a virtual environment, you can do that as well. So we will be talking more about the virtual environment in some other video. So for now, we will just close this particular welcome window from here, and I will be also closing this extension. If you want to get more knowledge about this particular extension, you can just go through it. This particular page, you will be getting further details related to it. So a lot of details are available over here related to this particular extension. and different shortcuts that it offers and a lot of features. So we can just go through it and see what all things it offers. Once we are done with that, I will just try to close this particular window, and over here we're going to be just printing out. And after installing this particular extension, you can see that we are getting a recommendation and some code highlighting. And if I just remove this print and if I just type P, you can see it is showing some recommendation. So if I hit enter, so you can see it has automatically added the print statement for us. If I add the brackets, you can see what all parameters that we can pass in this particular function. And if I just try to add double quotes and print hello Python devs, and if I add an exclamation mark over here, and if we try to save this particular code, and you can see there is a button to run this particular code at the top right side of the window. So if I just zoom in a little bit, so you guys can clearly see the code that we have written. And if I just try to save this particular code, and you can see this is the run button that we can use to run the Python file. So if I just click on that, in the output, you can see we are getting the output as hello Python devs. So this is how you can install the VS Code IDE onto your system and set up our development environment for our Python development. So I think guys are successfully able to run this Hello World program with the help of the VS Code that we have installed throughout this video. If you have any doubts or issues regarding installing the VS Code, so you can let me know in the Q&A section of the course. I will definitely try to help you out as soon as possible, and we will be taking a deep dive into Python in the next video itself. So I hope you guys are successfully able to install the VS Code and clearly understand the use of VS Code and the different extensions that the VS Code offers and different things related to it. So I think that was it for this particular lesson. So without further ado, let's move to the next lesson of our course.